Hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of Ratchet Clank, Pacifism to the Max. In this episode we're going to be doing even more bolt grinding. But before we go on to do the bolt grinding, there are two items that I found out through casual play that you can obtain. So there's the bolt grabber on Pokitaru, and there's the code bot on Ratchet Clank. And both of them do not require the hydro pack to obtain. And the reason is basically because you can use glitches and whatnot to go out of bounds. Okay, so we're going to want to get our telepack, break these for fun, and you'll notice that, or you won't notice, but I'll tell you now, this here is an invisible wall, so it isn't enough to open set off there. So I'm going to show you roughly how to get to the bolt grabber without using the hydro pack. This spot out here. There we go. And then you stand up here, and okay. If you start falling, without falling, press square, and that should cancel that. Okay. There we go. Right up there, and then glide through there. Glide that way, and ta-da! No hydro pack required. So that should help us get bolts. So yeah, I didn't quite show you, but the reason why you can't just, well, I'll show you the that seat. I'm pushing forward on the analog stick, and I'm not getting through there. So that's why you have to go up and over those spots there. Okay, so that's the bolt magnetizer. Oh no, the bolt grabber. Next up is the cobot. And the cobots I think I'm low. No, I'm full. Okay. So that's easiest to pull through. Yeah, okay. This here should all be solved. There we go. So that's basically how you go through that. you go through the wall where I did, and then you go through to here. Yeah, so now you just go to the end there. I don't care about that gold bolt there. So I can ignore that completely. And the reason why this outside surface is solid is because of the I think it's from that ship there. You do a flying ship section. Okay, so I think it's actually these the things that you're trying to destroy in that mission. But no biggie. Okay. So I can just move it. I know there's a hole in here somewhere. I just have to find it. Okay, what's that here? Oh no. I missed it. Okay. So even though this wall here suffers from the problem of you needing to throw multiple decoys in order to get one close enough to you to get you through the door, it's still a relatively easy wall to get through. Across. And about here, the oh, okay. Huh. That was a lot easier than I was expecting. Previously I clipped through there somewhere and ended up there. So yeah, it turns out you can actually just fall through there. I was not aware that could be done, because in my testing, that thing there was fully solid. Oh, no biggie. Grab these bolts. And now we can return to launch station. And the code box gives us access to a vault on core 2, which gives you heaps of bolts. There's a particular box in there, which if you break it, you automatically get 15,000 bolts. but the other crates in there give you a few thousand as well. So you end up with a total of around thousands more. So 17 to 19,000 around there would be the amount that you get. Make these to hold it. I'm not expecting those guys will be there. No biggie. We need this. Well, yes. There we go. Maybe bolts. Don't care about you. Look around here. Don't care about you. We're going to go to here. So we've got 7,819 bolts right now. And see how all of a sudden, 20,000. And now we've got 24,000. So we got 2, 4, 3, 1, 7. So we got 16,500 volts from that area. We don't really need to worry about the gold bolts. Yeah, I can just take that up those, but I don't want to break that one for fear that it'll break or kill one of the things. Okay, just fall through here. Yeah. Will hit me. Will do. Thank you. Okay. Let's see walk through here. Did he get aggroed? Did he get aggroed? No. Okay. So that's all the items that I would need to get, apart from the help from auction, but there's nothing special about that. So this would require getting all the bolts, about 70,000, 75,000 bolts. Would require a lot of grinding. So I've got a list of potential topics to talk about as I go through and do this. So, considering that I'm playing Ratchet Clank 1 right now, a potential thing to talk about would be what hundo or 100% would mean for this game. And depending on who you ask, there might be different definitions of what it is. Two common definitions are all trophies, especially because there's trophies on the PS3 version, but not on this version. So that's one possible variant. The problem with that is there is a trophy that requires you to obtain 1,000,000 volts. Now, the requirement isn't exactly to have your volt count be 1,000,000. So, if for whatever reason you buy nothing at all in the entire game, which is impossible, but still it could be imagined, and if you got to somewhere and then the first thing you bought was the Rhino, for the sake of discussion, so let's say the first thing you got was the Rhino, which cost $150,000 in bolts. And then you never buy anything else ever again. You would need to get your bolt count up to 850,000 in order to whatever. Yeah, so you need to get it to 850k because you've already spent 150k. So if you get it to 850k, the game would add on the 150k that you've already spent, and then you get the achievement. I'm going to put through here. Don't care about the race, but do that, and then I can get a bit more bolts. I'm right here. Just on those. Okay. So basically, that's a definition of 100% in this game. No, I haven't. Yeah. So that's a definition of 100% in this game. The problem is that getting 1,000,000 bolts in this game takes a long time. And even more so, the fastest way to get bolts in this game basically you get the taunter, then you go into NG Plus, or the ordering that doesn't matter, but you need to be in NG Plus, and you need to have the taunter. So then what you do is you go through this wall right here, then you hug that thing there, and this is probably the easiest clip in this game. For whatever reason, even in this version, you only need one decoy, when normally you need multiple. Then you make your way to the hoverboard racetrack. You go to a particular area where there's a bunch of crates, and then you then you use a taunter to continuously break those crates. Because the way that crates work in the hoverboard area is that when you're not looking at them, they respawn. So with the taunter, you can continuously break them while you're not looking at them. So they'll continuously break, and then they'll continuously give you bolts. And doing that gets you around around 35 volts a second. So you get about 35 volts a second. But yeah. So if your goal is to get around 1,000,000 volts at 35 volts a second, using my calculator here, it would take nearly 8 hours. 8 hours of continuously holding down the circle button, which no speedrunner wants to do. So no speedrunner wants to do a run where they have to hold down a particular button for 8 hours. So that is one definition. Another definition is the scorecard, because at the end of the game you get a scorecard, and the scorecard tracks three things. It tracks gold bolts, it tracks skill points, and it tracks gold weapons. Even then, getting all gold weapons costs around it costs around 400,000 bolts, maybe 350,000 bolts, around that, which is still a massive amount. There you go. Okay. I'm pretty sure breaking those things won't have killed anything. Will be. I wonder how difficult it will be to flip back out if I don't destroy those things. Not very. Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, okay. Like this. Those ammo. I wonder if we can get the enemies to great speed. Come on. You know you want to. Okay. Screw you then. Okay. Okay, so all the scorecard still requires you to do more vault grinding. And I had an idea a while ago that you could define 100% as being in one playthrough, have all weapons, all gadgets, and all items. But there's some problems with that. One problem is that it requires more bolts than just filling out the scorecard. Another problem is that it requires even more bolt grinding than filling out the scorecard. I don't know if I said that twice. Yeah, I think I did say that twice. But a problem with that is that most of the gadgets don't persist when you go from New Game to New Game Plus. The Trespasser, the Hydro Displacer, the Swing Shots. One of these is the Metal Detector, and one of these is the Holo Guide. That there is the Hydro Pack, and that there is the Sonic Summoner. And as far as I know, out of everything here, the only thing that comes back in New Game Plus is the PDA. And maybe also the metal detector. That's how the gadgets. All weapons come back, all items come back. So, that. Hey, do those papers form? No, I must have forgotten to break them. Okay. Next. So, it leads me to the possibility that the best or most fun way of defining 100% in this game could be basically all gold bolts, all skill points, and all items. And out of the items, there's the hoverboard, the 2 nanotech upgrades, the zoomerator, which you get from winning the hoverboard race, the persuader, the raritanium, the bolt grabber, the mathematic, and the code bot. And if you're just doing an all gold bolt and skill points run, you get the hoverboard by because there's 3 skill points in the hoverboard areas. You get the zoomerator because you have to do one of the skill points is, I better not just talk while pause because that's the piece of purpose of doing this. But one of the skill points is one of the skill points is pretty much complete the what do you call it? The hoverboard race in about 90 seconds. I think it's about 92 or 93 seconds. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I'll pretend like everything's okay. Suppose. There we go. So that yeah, so one of the skill points is to finish the race in about 93 seconds. And that it requires you to be very quick. So much so that if you get the skill point, you're pretty much guaranteed to win the race. Great, so yes I can. You're still alive? Yes you are. Okay. break that. Break those. If I can. Break that. Break those. Okay. Okay. So, because you have to do it quickly, you will win the race as a result. I don't think it's possible to lose the race while still getting that skill point. Maybe it is, but probably not. Yeah, probably do go that way. Okay. Okay. So there's no enemies around here. Here. Okay. So I can break this up without feeling bad about it. Let's come back here. There's no enemies here either. Okay. Okay. And in this area, there are no enemies. Okay. So we're going to see this. Are you going to aggro on me? Are you going to aggro on me? Please aggro, please aggro. This is fine. Get those. Okay. Okay, so that's everything there that I want to get. Right. Yeah, I don't want to risk coming back down and call this. Right, yeah, that's here. I don't really want to do anything there. Okay. Okay, so that's everything. Planet to worry about. Okay. This is going to be quite a long episode. Which is okay. It'll be kind of like a podcast, I think. That's what I'm going for here. Mailbox. Basically because I I don't want to not show stuff. Okay. Like that. So bolts. Like that, like that. I don't really care that much. Okay, so I can do. Help! Help! Yeah. Okay. I think I can go for a bit. Oh, back there. Hmm. No, okay. What if I put a decoy here? Right here. Now. Okay, can they share decoy placed on this? So that's this. No, I want to put there. Um, okay. So, yeah, there's pretty much no way to get them to vacate. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Okay. I think one of those random bombs destroyed the crate. Which does happen. Like these. Like these. There. That's pretty good. And that's seven. Okay. So, all that thing. And all, yeah. And in an all gold bolt and skill point speed run, you get two other items. You get the Mapomatic from you get the Mapomatic from the from Zero 3. And that would be as a side effect of um, doing the grind rail section. So you do the grind rail section, then you then yeah. Yeah, so the mathematics is obtained as a side effect of having to do the rail, the grind rail, which you do for two reasons. Firstly, there is a skill point in the railway in the grind rail section, where you have to not take a hit. And secondly, there are 2 gold bolts in the area, so you get the mathematical side effect. And the code box, you get an all gold bolt and skill points because you need a lot of bolts, because you have to buy on top of everything you need for 80%, you need the decoy glove and the PDA, which you buy in all gold bolts. And on top of that, you also need to buy the what do you call it? Oh, I think so. Okay. So, yeah, in all gold bolts and skill point, you need to buy, in addition, you need to buy the Devastator, which is 10,000 bolts, and you need to buy the, that's it. You need to buy the, the Visibomb gun, because there are skill points that require that weapon. And so being able to get 16,000 volts basically for free means that it's a good idea to grab the code box in that run. Password, go do it down this one to break boxes. Oh, I can only afford the health. Okay. There. Now, here. Okay. No matter. So basically, if you define 100% as all gold bolts, all skill points, and all items, that's only about 34,000 volts of extra grinding, which is that would probably require going through the levels a long way, somewhat. But it would be a lot less grinding than any other definition, and that's because of the health, which also incorporates every part of the game that is fun. We could easily define it as being all missions, maybe, possibly. Okay, so that could be it. Depending on whether buying the Rhino is a mission, I would have to check that. If it is, then all missions is not a good category. But of all the possible hundo categories for this game, all gold bolts, skill points, and items would be the least grindy. Alternatively, could be 100% faultless, which is everything in 100%, except for anything that you would need faults for. So since you need faults for health upgrade, they wouldn't count. Since you need bolts for the Rhino or the Mine Glove or whatever other weapons there are, they would not count. But since you need things like Busy Bomb Gun and Devastator to do some skill points anyway, you get them anyway. So that could be a possibility. So I've been talking for 15 minutes. So I'm going to end the episode here. Thank you guys for watching. And in the next one, I'm going to get extra health and do more grinding. So, see you in the next one. Bye bye.